Hello YouTube, this is going to be my first video in a long time. It is a flight sim video. We're going to be doing a short flight here from Houston to Austin, Texas in a Citation Mustang. We're at 14,000 feet, and the purpose of this video is just to demonstrate a basic descent in a Citation Mustang, as well as show you how I perform an ILS with the approach briefing and how I set up for it, and how I teach some of my real-world students some techniques for the ILS approach. So we just got our message from Houston Approach to contact them, and we've already got their frequencies programmed in, as well as the current information. The information is alpha. The winds are out of the south, gusting up to 14, steady at 9. Skies are clear, but I don't think that's going to be true. 10 miles of visibility, and our altimeter is 3004, which we've already set in. So let's go ahead and contact Houston. Oh, I'm sorry, let's contact Austin. Oh, it looks like they got a ground up as well. Approach ground to 1.9. So before we contact them, I'll just make these adjustments. We'll be good to go. Now all our frequencies are programmed in. This is called staying ahead of the airplane. Austin Approach, Citation 192 Delta Alpha with you on 4000.
Number 192 Delta Alpha, squawk 5105.
5105, Citation 2 Delta Alpha. I flew in here just the other day with the same group of controllers, and they're all students. I like to fly to places with student controllers just because they need the practice, and I don't mind helping them out. I don't want to say it's...
Number 192 Delta Alpha, Alpha Vest, radar contact 29 miles southeast of the Central Tier 1. Also altimeter 3003, expect vectors to the ILS runway 17 left approach. Descend and maintain 7,000.
Alright, vectors for the ILS 17 left down to 7,000 at a 14 for 2 Delta Alpha. I figured that's what we were going to get. That's what I wanted. So we'll go ahead and do 17 left vectors. And I'm going to sync up to head and hold, and we'll activate that. And I'll walk through that here in just a second. We'll begin our descent to 7,000. I keep just a small memo pad. You can get them at like 80 cents for Walmart, the little flip notebooks. Just keep that in front of you. That way you're not wasting whole sheets of paper. Because when I have a whole sheets of paper, I have a tendency to write too big. But on these tiny notepads, you know, they're 80 cents, and you can write on them pretty easily. Now that we know the approach, we can go ahead and move over to our checklist. Our descent checklist we already completed, but I'll just run through it one more time. Our pressurization switch is verify destination field elevation set, which I actually have not done that, so we'll set this to 542. That's located in our reference section here. For pressurization, I just round the nearest, which is 540. For barometric minimums, I round up. That's just a safety feature. Anti-ace is as required, throttles are as required. We've begun this descent. Our maximum is 250 there, as you can see we're approaching, so we will go ahead and reduce our throttles back. Altimeters are set and cross-checked, and they're all three verified. 3 looking there and there. Landing data is input. We will go ahead and set up our VREF information. Turn those on. And our landing light switch is as required, so we'll go ahead and get that on as well. And we'll get our passenger safety switch on. And that's going to complete our descent checklist. So now we'll move on to our approach checklist. Our approach checklist, landing data confirm. And we'll just look at our landing data here. From what I've got, our weight is 7,000 pounds. Our outside air temperature should be somewhere around 25 degrees centigrade. So that's going to put us about a 2,200 foot roll after touchdown. So that's not bad. Since we have transitioned over to a heading hold, just because he's going to give us vectors here in a second, we are going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit. And I'll show you runway. Come on. And this is what our approach is going to look like. Now, we're over the missed approach point. We'll do that briefing here in a second. Since we're on a heading hold, we're going to go ahead and transition our CDI to our VOR1. You can see that ABI has been identified, 113.7. And we'll verify here in a second that that's correct. So let's go ahead and go to our approach checklist. Just make sure everything is set here. There's the problem.
Austin approach, SmartNet Cargo 11, with you, 11,000. SmartNet Cargo 11. Martin Air Cargo 11 Heavy, Austin approach, Smart 5141. Squawking 5141, Martin Air Cargo 11.
I accidentally selected the wrong approach here.
November 192 Delta Alpha, turn right heading 350, that's your surprise from the 17 left.
Right to 350 for 2 Delta Alpha. So I'm just going to reset it here. That's the purpose of these checklists, as you can see, so you can cross-reference yourself and make sure you did everything correctly. So we're going to turn right to 350. And
Martin Air Cargo 11 Heavy, radar contact 30 miles north of Central Sierra, Austin Ultimate 3073.
so we're going to procedures and select
to the
our
ILS from the 17 left approach. Descend and maintain 6,000. Alright, down to 6,000, we'll expect vectors for the ILS 17 left, Martin Air Cargo 11.
Alright, so let's go ahead and do our approach checklist here. Passenger safety switches on, avionics are set, minimums, we're going to go ahead and go set those now. Our minimums are 692. Like I said, I always round up, so we'll say 700. And we'll do our approach briefing. 110.5, we'll go ahead and get that over. 110.5. Nope. You can see they're both identified, which means that we can use them. The G1000 does that for us.
November 192 Delta Alpha, descend and maintain 5,000.
Down to 5,000, 2 Delta Alpha. Continue our descent to 5,000. And I'm going to go ahead and increase that descent rate to 1,200, and we're going to reduce our power a little bit more. Non-standard takeoff and alternate minimums. All of our remarks have been satisfied. None of them are applicable. ATIS of 244, we've already got it, which is alpha. We've got our frequencies for tower and ground control programmed in. A localizer 110.5, approach course of 175. So adjust that approach course there. Gappy as our final approach fix for 2,500.
Martin Air Cargo 11,
And we should be vectored in. If he does what we did last time, we'll vector about 3,000. We are going to be category B, and we're 692 is our decision altitude. Our time for final approach fix to miss approach point is 3 minutes, and so when we hit our final approach point, we'll turn this timer on there. Touchdown zone elevation is 492. We do have a visual descent point, which is going to be 0.8 miles from the end of the runway. And that's going to be Make sure that that is applicable to us. I'm trying to find localizer only. So nope, we're ILS, so we do not have a visual descent point. And I will try and have this chart up there. Hopefully it's already been up there and you guys have been following along. If not, it's in the link in the description and you can look at the approach chart that I'm shooting. We got a 9,000 foot runway, touchdown zone elevation of 492. And we are on the east side and we're going to be vectored probably somewhere around Scaly to intercept.
Level 192 Delta Alpha, turn left heading 270.
Left at 270, 2 Delta Alpha. Our missed approach is climb to 1,000, then a climbing left turn to 3,000, heading 040, the radial 88 to hook, 17 DME and hold. We will not be shooting a missed approach, hopefully. And that completes our approach briefing. CAS messages are check, anti-skid on. We have no CAS messages. I do have our booster on because I did experience some low fuel pressure in the flight from Houston, and so I just have that on as a precautionary measure. Not sure how all that happened. CAS messages are check, flap handle to takeoff. We're going to go ahead and reduce our power some more. You can see our glide slope's alive. Our approach is 120 knots as our target, followed by at the final approach fix a reduction to our reference speed of 94.
Martin Air Cargo 11, reduce speed to 190 knots.
We're going to get
flap
handle to take off prior to our final approach fix, and we'll also do a before landing checklist as we approach the final approach fix as well. So for now, we're set. And right now, all we're doing is maintaining 5,270 until he gets our next turn, which should be our intercept heading.
Level 192 Delta Alpha, maintain forward speed, please. Do your best rate at speed, sir.
And 2 Delta Alpha, right. So if he wants forward speed, I'm going to push us to about 185, because that's about the most.
2 Delta Alpha, 5 miles from Scaly. Turn left heading 200. Cross your air over 4,000 just by listening to the local cleared ILS from the 17 left approach.
We're left at 200, 4,000 until established, and we'll keep S forward for ILS 17 left, 2 Delta Alpha.
More air cargo 11 heavy. Reduce speed to 170 knots if that's simple. If that's possible. We can't really go any further than 180 knots, Martin Air Cargo 11. There's a Martin Air Cargo 11, if you can just maintain 180 knots, sir. 180 knots, Martin Air Cargo 11.
I believe he's going to have us just for traffic, which is going to be back there somewhere. And so now we're on our intercept heading. The 6 T's is what I use for my IFR students, so time, turn, time, transition, twist, and taunt. Every time we do some type of new leg on an approach or hit some type of fix, we go through our 6 T's. Note the time, make a turn, start a timer, transition to our new altitude, twist any headings or CDIs, and then talk, make any radio calls that you have to do. So once we intercept, we'll do that, and then once we hit our final approach fix, we'll do that as well.
Martin Cargo 11, 8 miles from Scaly, cross the correction 4,000 heading, cross the over 4,000 to establish on the low plaza, cleared ILS from the 17 left approach. Clear ILS 17 left approach, Martin Cargo 11.
Right now we're just watching for the CDI needle to come alive, and as it comes alive, I'm going to turn on our nav. I could just hold nav right now if I wanted to. And there it is. So we'll activate our nav, and you can see our heading's going to come on. And you can see how the autopilot led the turn by about a dot and a half deflection. And so if you were shooting this manually, that's about how much you would want to lead it as well in this aircraft. He said to keep best forward speed, so I still haven't put our first notch of flaps in. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And I am going to increase our power. And we're going to maintain a pretty fast approach here. And there's our glide slope coming in, so I'll switch this over to approach mode, and it should capture our glide slope as well.